Kia ora koutou katoa, nau mai hara mai ki te ao Hākinakina, your sports show right here on your Tribal Pulse, Te Kore Mako o Taranaki, 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. He is one of the greatest softball players to ever grace the softball pitch, raised under the watchful eye of Māunga Taranaki in the town of Waitara. He has achieved more accolades and awards in his beloved sport that most could even imagine. He's represented his nation at the very highest level, and has imprinted a huge legacy of sporting success within the sport, within his community, the province, the nation, and the world. A big warm welcome to our very own softballing superstar, Jarrad Martin. Kia ora, bro.
Oh, kia ora, Caps. Kei te pihā koe, bro?
Hey te pai, bro. Kei te pai. Stoked to have you on the show and looking forward to our little kōrero here, brother. So, hey, before we get started, ko wai koe no he koe, a bit about yourself and where you're from.
Oh, kia ora. Hey, ko Jarrad Martin taku ingoa, o Waitara aho. Me to te nāmutu o te kāinga I tēnei rā. Ko Taranaki te maunga, ko Waitara te awa, ko Kairo te marae, ko Murray toku papa, ko Jackie toku mama. Ko Ngāti Mutunga rawa, ko Ngāti Tama, rawa ko Pukirangi ora, rawa ko Pukitapu na iwi. And that's my little pepe, bro. That's me in a nutshell. Yeah. I'm working on that part of it too. So I've been out of that sort of space for a little while, but I know now that I've got to start using my reo a little bit more often. So, ka pai.
That's beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Good to make those connections and all that jazz, and see you proud of your whakapapa there. Hey, so just to kick things off, like, was it always softball growing up, or was there other sports that you were engaged with when you were younger?
Oh, when I was younger, bro, I actually, fortunate that my whānau was very active in sports and all codes. So me growing up, my dad and my uncles all played rugby for Clifton. And they all played golf. They all played basketball. So for me, bro, I played everything I could when I was young. And I enjoyed the competitiveness with sports, being a team or individual. So yeah, growing up through school, I actually started playing midget rugby for Clifton way back when I was a toddler, bare feet in frosty grass there. And then I moved into soccer, and I guess, I don't know, they reckon if you play soccer a little bit, it's good to work on your footwork, for the rugby pitch. And then it was only, during intermediate, I think, after that I turned back to rugby and played once again everything, basketball. I played volleyball at school where we were pretty competitive, at Waitara High. And then obviously rugby with all my mates and that, and then I kind of softball was always a big part of my life, during the summer months, and finished school in the middle of sixth form in '89. Then I chose to actually move away from the region to excel in or to try and, put myself somewhere on the softball map, I suppose. And so I moved down to Wellington. Although I did that, I still played my rugby down there for college old boys in the under-21s. But then I did get sick there when I was 19 years old and had to have open heart surgery. So for me, I had to give away, I guess, the rugby passion. And then just put all my energies towards softball, bro. So yeah, that's where it all started. And I guess, like all kids and people that are have grown up to excel in whatever it may be, it isn't without the help of whānau, in particular mum and dad, and and our siblings, and and as you get older, your partners, your wife, and your children. So it's cool. It's cool, and now it's just a bit of a, I don't know, it's a history lesson, I suppose, now, and some things I can't remember, It's just gone like that, just gone in a flash. But, I tried, things I do remember, I just kind of cherish those moments as life goes by. And that's going by pretty quick at the moment.
Oh, that's awesome. That's obviously you had there's a love for softball because you ended up heading down that path. So, in those early years, what memories do you have of the game here in Taranaki?
I remember here when we were, I was under 10s, I think, and I first started playing for Te Atiawa back in the day when Māori Toa was I guess coaching. He was coaching myself and my cousin Bevan, and then obviously Marty's kids, Kieran and Gary, were involved too. So when we were growing up, it was a huge, I guess, community game. But Waitara at the time had like 5 clubs, and so not only was the competition big in Waitara, but when you moved into town, I remember going to Hickford Park. Well, actually, it was at Sanders Park when we used to play first, coming into town and playing all the townies, as we used to say back in the day. And it was pretty big. I remember the fields were pretty packed then, and then it moved out to Bell Block to Hickford Park, and I remember just being at the park from 8 o'clock in the morning till the afternoon once Mum and Dad had finished playing. Those were the days we used to meet down at the post office in Waitara, and Dad would have a van and he'd pick all the boys up, it'd be like a road trip to Bell Block, and it was, they were the fun times. Used to have our Bothwork knickers, our white Bothworks pants, and they were that was part of our uniform, when we were little kids. And some cool memories there. But it's a few moons ago now when you think about it. But I wouldn't give anything. I'd love to, do it all over again.
100%. I actually remember that as a kid. I didn't play softball myself, but the crowds used to be huge back in the days, and out of Bell Block there, I remember that fondly. Now, hey, you started young, so I understand in 1989, at 16 years of age, you were selected in the under-19 New Zealand Junior Black Sox, and you won a gold medal. Now, you pitched in that final, and that was the last time a junior men's side won the World Cup. So this must have been a pretty special experience for you.
Oh, yeah, always is. Because originally myself and a few others that were in that team were selected as non-travelling reserves. So, and to go, be called into that squad to go to the World Cup in Canada was, as a young 16-year-old, never been out of New Zealand, never been on a plane before. And to be able to do this was a pretty, I guess it was an honourable moment. And I thought, young 16-year-old going over there with these 18, 19-year-olds, I'll be riding the bench a little bit. But, I put the hard work in, though, over the off-season with my cousin Bev, and he could probably back me up with this. We both worked hard, and, I did it just because, he was in the original selection, and it was to get him in good shape to be able to put his best foot forward to claim a position in the side. And when I got called in, I was kind of ready because I was training. And so anyway, cut a long story short, we get over there, and I did ride the bench a little bit in the tournament. But I think the coaches knew, they had a reason behind that for me to, utilise me in the actual tournament where it counted. And as it was, I pitched quite a lot of the big games. And I've still got those videos around here stashed away. I'm not too sure if they'll work anymore because they are in VHS mode. But I'm hoping to, convert them over to, I was a CD, but now I think it's a USB stick. So, I'm hoping all that footage is still okay to watch, because, that's the start of, something for me that I guess now you look at it, it was the start of a big journey for me.
Yeah, definitely a start of a big journey, because not long after you, at age 18, you ended up playing for New Zealand softball team in 2013, an international career that spanned over 17 years. So what were some of the key memories for you over that 17 years, representing your country and captaining the national side to the World Series win in 2004? What are some of your special memories from that 17 years?
Well, I mean, I guess the initial days when I was selected in the team, we were pretty much going with the old culture. A lot of old players I used to watch on TV and look up to. I was, started playing with them at the end of their careers, and the change, evolved from, just an average team that would turn up on weekends, play hard, do their thing, and enjoy each other's company after the match. But I think 91 was my first year. It was a bit of an eye-opener. We travelled to Aussie, and we went over there and we were undefeated, and that was the first time New Zealand went through a tour in international test series with Australia. First time they'd done it ever, and it was almost like a development squad, but a lot of senior guys, and I guess it was the coaching staff or management looking to build, I guess, the culture of the team, and obviously try and develop some sort of legacy and culture itself. So 96, I made my first World Series. We went on to win that. Awesome team, great team. But once again, lived off old school laurels and, play hard, party hard. Well, I shouldn't say party hard, but, enjoyed each other's company. And then it was sort of a couple of years after that where, a few of the older guys who were nearly on their way out started sort of putting the finger at the culture that was, that we're sort of caught up in. And then that's where we started actually focusing on actually trying to be athletes as opposed to just being, competitors, I suppose. So, all the sports nutrition and all the sports science stuff started coming in, and, we'd never been taught how to run properly, and, you were just told, go run around the field a few times for warm-up, and you did it. But then when you get all these sports science providers involved, there's a lot more to it than just, running around the field. It's how you get to the point where you can start running, and, strength work and nutrition, the importance of, nutrition itself. And it's a big, nowadays, if you look back at it, that sports science thing is huge. If you don't have it, especially these professional athletes, and if they're not doing that well, then they're not going to perform at their best and win. So, we were lucky. We were given the opportunity by, back then it was Spark, and Sport New Zealand, and we were given the opportunity to be Tier 1 athletes. So it was training alongside all the All Blacks and all your high performing Kiwi athletes. We were at the same level as them, and we held full-time jobs, but we also trained pretty well in all those years, and and I think that's why we were so successful for such a long time. We pretty much near ruled the roost for a solid, I would say, a dozen years to maybe more. But, that legacy's carried on, and, we've gone on to be on the podium for, quite some time until just recently. So, I mean, I know that, the coaches that nowadays are trying to rebuild that status, but, you're never going to replicate what happened back in, the 90s and the early 2000s, because, they were unique teams and unique athletes that we had in those teams.
Definitely. I definitely remember those Black Sox teams in the 90s, probably one of our top sporting teams in the nation back in those days. So I'm sure there's plenty of good memories. So you also headed over to North America in 1992, and you spent, someone told me, close to 18 seasons over there. What was that experience like over in America?
Yeah, bro, that was like a kid going to the candy store my first year. I was just getting the opportunity once again, and I played in a team that was they were superstars, the whole lot of them, and I was this young fella that came in who was kind of drafted through, one of our legend players of Michael White and Jimmy Seaman, or Jimmy Wana, he's known as now, and they took me over there to try and groom me into the American season. And the year I played, it was in Sioux City, Iowa, was the first year, and we pretty much won everything. I think we played like 140 something games, and we would have lost maybe 6 or 7 in that whole time. But that was every week you were grinding, you were traveling, but it was fun. I was only, like I was saying, 18 years old or 19 years old. Then I got the sickness and had to have that surgery in 93. So that kicked me back a little bit, and then got an opportunity to go back again in 94. And then I just, I worked hard in my craft, and that's what I always wanted to do, was travel and be like all these other Kiwi pioneers who went across to the States and created a life for themselves. And so I spent, like you're saying, 18 of our Kiwi winters in North America, and I'll tell you, it was an awesome experience. I was probably fortunate that I got to play in the era that, where, you had some of the greatest players around, some of my idols, well, not so much my idols, but people I wanted to play against. And then obviously when we were going through that time with the Black Sox, a lot of us were playing across the ways there as well. And I think that's what made our national team successful, is we were playing against the best players in the world in our off season. So, playing all year round, we were getting that consistency, that competition, that level of competition that you needed to have to be the best. And I think, by doing that and being able to play across there was an awesome experience. So, I'm glad I got the chance to do it.
Pretty awesome. All right. Pretty awesome. So, and for the last 10 years or so, you've been in a coaching capacity with the Junior Black Sox, including you've won 2 silver medals, 1 bronze. And what is it about coaching that you're enjoying at the moment?
Well, coaching for me, because I retired in 2013, right after we won the World Cup. And, I didn't retire formally. I just never said I'd retire. But I got roped in by one of my teammates. He was retiring, and he decided he wanted to coach and needed a buddy, needed an assistant to help. So he approached me, and this was right at the end of us winning this 2013 tournament. And I was just, I was going, oh, geez, I just finished playing, and now you want me to come and do something else with you. So, as it was, had a bit of a talk to my wife and, a bit of a think about it, and was like, yeah, I'd love to give back. And, it was a good time because I just finished playing career, my playing career we both had. And, some of the things that we could, I guess, teach our younger generations. Our goal was to try and transition as many young kids to the top team as quick as we could by the knowledge that we had at the time. And we were able to achieve that. And I think the team that they have now, we've got probably 90% of the players went through our program. So it's been awesome to see. It was a wicked experience to be in the coaching, like being on the other side of the diamond, put it that way. And it was great working with the kids because they're all ears and all eyes. They just want to listen and learn. And I had a crack at, the head coach role last year, and we were, unsuccessful. But I think, we did succeed in terms of, growing these young men. We call them young men, growing these boys into young men at the time. And, it's an experience that, we'll all cherish and we'll all learn from. And you can't win everything you'd like to, but, hey, someone has to win. And at the time, it wasn't us.
That's awesome. Well, it's good to see you in that space, coaching and passing on your mātauranga to all the young softballers coming through the ranks. Now, I have to do it before we finish up. I have to just mention to our whānau at home some of the accolades that you've had over your time is just absolutely outstanding. So you have to excuse me because I know you're probably like, oh, come on, don't share all that stuff. But I've got to share it because you made a huge impact on the sport. So for our whānau at home, 1989 Taranaki Junior Sports Person of the Year, 96 and 2004. You were awarded the New Zealand Softball Player of the Year, 99 and 2004 New Zealand Māori Sportsman of the Year. In the 1900s, you were named New Zealand Softball Player of the Decade, 2004 New Zealand Order of Merit for services to softball, 2015 inducted into the International Softball Congress Softball Hall of Fame, 2017 inducted into the New Zealand Softball Hall of Fame, the same year inducted into the World Softball Baseball Confederation Hall of Fame. You between 2003 and 2006, you won 5 ISC titles, including 4 straight. And in 1999 and 2008, you earned the ISC All Worlds Honours 7 times between those dates, and twice named ISC MVP. Now, when I mention these accolades, what comes to mind for you in terms of those memories and that impact that must have? You know, obviously it's created so many memories for yourself, but the impact that it's had on others around you, your family, your friends, and other softballers around, that must be huge for you to sit back and when you hear those awards, and you know that I know you probably think that's a team effort, but that just goes to show the mana that you hold within the game, and that must mean a lot to you and your whānau.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, I never went by not acknowledging my teammates and my coaches, and obviously, you know, my family support, in particular, mum and dad, and my wife and kids. So, yeah, I when you look at it and you go, well, I wanted to achieve a lot in playing, and obviously, I just enjoyed playing to have fun, but to win. But as that happened, I was able to play at my best with the best, and potentially was one of the best at a given time. But you know, it was just, yeah, it was kind of like a magical story, really, for me. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it was just one of those things. Everything just went well on my side of the field. Yeah,
absolutely inspiring and outstanding. Just to see the different things that you've accomplished. It's been an absolute privilege and an honour to speak with you on the show, to have you on our show and to hear your amazing hikoi through life and through the world of softball. The things that you've achieved and accomplished are awe-inspiring and provide a sense of inspiration and self-belief that, you know, anything is possible if you put your mind to it and you work hard, even from a little place like Waitara and Taranaki. So thank you for sharing your mātauranga with us on the show and for spending time with us. And we wish you well on your next endeavours and keeping in touch with you in the near future.
Yeah, no, appreciate the dial-in, Caps. And, you know, just like you're saying, you know, there's a lot of kids and children out there, and they just don't realise the potential that they have to go out and achieve their dreams, you know. And it's people talk about hard work, but if you've got that passion and motivation and those dreams ahead, then you'll work hard anyway. And you've seen that right now with your son, you know, and with your whānau. And I've been watching his journey because him and my little boy played rugby together when back in the tūkapa little days. I'm always keeping an eye out on our young tamariki, and it's great to see the success that they're having. You know, like you're saying, being it from this little region here around the Māunga, bro.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and all the very best.
Yeah, awesome, bro. Thank you.